speaker, Zoom online special, all of these people that you can't see on your screen, but that will be performing. I've decided to join us and do lovely things with us this evening. And the reason why we are putting this on is I don't know. There's a one part craziness, and mostly is to raise some awareness about our venue, which is Chaplains and Cellar Bar. Just a little bit about Chaplains. So we've been there for 3 years, and there's also poetry events that have come and gone, and that also still running there. But it's been the most amazing venue I've ever had as a promoter. It just pales in comparison. You know, they set up all the chairs for us. They give us a float. They look after people in the bar with food, and they're just generally an awesome bunch. And it's a great creative place to be able to have in the town. So if you want to donate to Chaplains, they've got a crowdfunder. We will put details on the event page and on our page, or you can donate directly to Wordmakers if you want to just donate like 50p or a quid, because they're saying there's a minimum limit on the crowdfunder, and then we'll pass that on. I'm just going to go directly to the first host for the evening, which is the lovely Sean, who's not behind the sound desk for once. Sean,
hello.
It's all on you, man.
Yeah, also,
Woo, Sean.
You can call me Katie, though, that's fine. Hello everyone. Welcome to some poetry. Welcome to Wordmakers. Should point out that I run a jam night at Chaplin's as well, so I'm very much like really need that place to be open because it's amazing and I love it like so much. Yeah, I suppose. Did you want me to do a poem as well? I wasn't planning that.
Yeah, go on, do a poem.
Okay, cool. I'll do the one that I always do when people put me on the spot because it's really short and easy. Cool. This one's about my lovely siblings. On the 22nd of June, 1992, that was the date that you were born. That was the day that I met you. And I was so excited, as our heavily pregnant mother told me the time had come to be your big brother. As soon as I saw you, I was sold. Didn't matter that you looked like a Cabbage Patch doll. Even as a kid, you were always so bold. You've been the best little sister since I was 6 years old. But then these 3 little words that you all should know, those words be, he's my bro. He's a crazy mother lover who never takes cover when he's got to go toe to toe. And yes, he does fight and he likes to be right. So sometimes he gets stung. But the one thing that you should know about my bro, he will never, ever hold his tongue. Then 2 years before he was born still, there was another. Constant dawn to my parents, you know, she really was a lover of all types of fun. If he was Mark 1, then I was her surrogate son. And now that my siblings have these kids of their own, it amazes me how quickly and by just how much they've grown. When I look at them, I see they can do anything they wanna. Well, that, to be honest, is my honor. Cheers. Thanks very much. Yeah, my lovely siblings. Yeah, I missed my niece's birthday a couple of weeks ago and it was like heartbreaking. Cool. Should we get our first performer up?
Yes.
Turn my phone back on so I can actually see who it is. Oh, wonderful. Well, this says Tim, but I don't know who Tim is. We have our first performer who is an amazing poet all the way from the Isle of Wight, and his name is King Stammers.
Hello! How are we, everyone? Yeah, hey, Wordmakers, thank you so much for having me. This really means a lot. Thank you for letting me shout poems into a microphone. I'm going to stop prattling, otherwise I'll just ramble all night, and that's not why we're here. Yeah, as everyone said, please support Chaplains. It's a fucking amazing venue. I love the place. So I'm going to do 2 poems. This is the first one. It's about waiting for a bus in the rain. It's called April Showers. The pensioner Gladys says she finds it frightening how school kids can pack away so much white lightning to this bus stops or pop-up speakeasy for teens competitively drinking beyond their means. The remnants of last night's youthful drinking increasingly finds itself floating downstream and sinking as we wait for the bus in the rain. The prognosis is bleak. The sky's looking dark. Some matey called Noah is readying his ark, the contents of cumulus and nimbus descending in torrential buckets of downpours unending, against respite constructed of plexiglass and steel as we wait for our textbook postponement on wheels, as we wait for the bus in the rain. Undoubtedly, the single worst part of the commute, a fact that no one here will refute. Like teapots of chocolate or tonic that's ginless, this bus stop is generously praised as useless, resplendent in leaks, but purpose not fit. This rain's not from Africa, so Toto won't bless it as we wait for the bus in the rain. The deluge continues, unending and steady. Oh, hang on, oh Gladys, get that bus pass already, because here comes the bus! Oh, shit, it's the wrong bus. Vehicular deception be causing a fuss. The water is rising, cars are floating away. There's no inbound Kevin Costner to save the day as we wait for the bus in the rain. I wonder if this bus stop will still be here when the sea levels rise. I wonder if the climate change deniers could see it through our eyes. I wonder if the school kids drink. The situation's bleak. Industry doesn't care. Politicians don't listen when we speak. So when our Gladys asks me what's on my mind, I say, I wonder how some people can be so blind as we wait for the bus in the rain. Thank you.
Yay!
Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh my God, people actually enjoyed it. Hooray.
Oh, that was so good.
Thank you. Have I got time for another one?
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, cool.
Sorry, I'm saying yes. Sean should say yes.
Yes, right.
Right, yeah, okay, so yeah, this is the next one. This is called Noble Amateurs. It was a rainy Thursday, and then the ordinary town, and in a place quite nondescript, the poets came to get down and offer forth their freshest flows of flawless pentameter. The drinks were flowing, spirits were high, that's all that really mattered, save for one man. Sat at the bar, who found his nerves aflame. He scowled, he frowned, he pondered to himself, do these poets feel no shame? This poetry isn't proper, this poetry isn't real, there's no command of subtlety here, it just plain lacks appeal. He thought their prose was uninspired, long in the tooth, dog-eared and tired, and in a singular word he thought he was shit and he couldn't stand it any longer, not one little bit. And so he decided, as with all his other scars, that he'd weave his anger into bars of cutting verse to separate wheat from chaff, going in for the jugular to make himself laugh. It took 4 drafts till he was content, until he felt that his work had fulfilled its intent. And he looked down proudly at his work with a grin, smugly elated at the cutting wit within. So Thursday came, and he grabbed his books, and he perched at the bar, giving furtive little looks, and as the host called up his name, our angry young case study abandoned all shame. Fancying himself iconoclastic, he spewed forth verbal pyroclastic flows of savage, unhinged rhyming, long on insults, haphazard in timing. He systematically tore apart what he thought were lesser forms of the art, gorging deep on his opinions. He revelled as he held dominion. Clumsily he ambled through his verbs, intent to provoke, prod, and perturb, line upon line of utter derision, hoping that the neophytes would put their pints down and listen, and they did. The venue fell silent, and he felt like a defender of poetry so defiant, but had he have stopped to read the room, our angry young case study may well have changed his tune. See, fledgling writers who grip pens in catharsis abandoned embryonic prose in aghast of this, fearing that they'd never ever make the grade, all because of one man's inane, indignant shade. And just like that, first drafts were left to gather dust, and the nibs on fountain pens began to rust. As they dropped their pens and thought, I'm not cut out for this. Standard's too high. I think I'll give it a miss. Look, self-confidence is a garden, and your words are the seeds, and you can propagate oak trees, you can cultivate weeds. Even Kate Tempest, before 5-star reviews, just cut her teeth, fucking spitballing her views. And as for this prick's views about poetry needing to be real, art doesn't need no royal seal. Because how could anything that brought us all here be considered anything less than utterly sincere. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much.
I saw something. I saw that you've got a new online thing. Is it Spit Like a Llama?
Yeah. It's called Spit Like a Llama. Sorry, you can see why I'm called King Stammers now, can't you? It's a little bit ad hoc at the moment. We're trying to figure out when we can do the next one. But yeah, it's over Zoom. We record it over Zoom, and then we take submissions from people whose internet connection maybe isn't steady enough for it. And the idea is we're trying to make spoken word as accessible for people as we can. So if there's people that maybe want to give spoken word a try, but they can't get a babysitter, or they have accessibility issues with venues, or they're agoraphobic, we're trying to blow the doors wide open and make it as accessible for people as we can, because it's 2020. This is a beautiful thing, and yeah, this should be as open as we can make it. It's an art form.
Nice.
But, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, Spit Like a Llama. It's easy to remember as well.
Thank you.
Easy. Awesome. Wonderful. That was King Stammers, everyone. I'm just gonna go straight into the next. I'm not really sure how to pronounce the surname, so I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, that's fine.
Elizabeth next.
Hi everyone. My name is Elizabeth McGeown. I'm well used to saying my own surname. This is my first time in Bournemouth. Hello. And it was just the easiest flight I've ever had. Recently I've been doing quite a lot of poems about things I've seen in the news, articles. So this one is just to give a little context, because it was talked about a lot in Ireland, perhaps not so much from where you're watching from. So it's about the Magdalene laundries, which were homes for unmarried mothers, mainly in the 50s, 60s, 70s, but some persisted till the 80s and early 90s, where you would send your daughter away if she was pregnant, and so that she would not bring shame upon the family. And there was one particular home where they found a mass grave a couple of years ago, where the nuns had just buried some of the children in a septic tank rather than giving a proper service. So this is about that situation. There's an account, Bernard Lynch on Twitter, Martin Murphy, that every 2 days Annie Coyne tweets the name Dermot Gavin, the name of a baby Mary Ward, 21 months, the name of a baby Kate Cunningham, 2 months, that died. Not so simple though. The Bible said, suffer the little children, and they did. Did you fling your Christianity into a pit, a gladiatorial pit? Watch the survival of the fittest. Cherubs wrestled with lions, or the race called disease and neglect. They were not fit. Weakness betrayed them, and what could you do? You follow your teachings. There is no health care here. Maybe the pit was of damnation, despair. A slough of despond bubbled with tiny skulls submerged under the weight of their own guilt. Too young to have guilt? No, they inherit. From their first breath, they reek of original sin, and they sink. The Pilgrim's Progress, did you make the connection you Bible taught, just like Bunyan? Was the sewage to cleanse them in the afterlife? Babies go to limbo. Have I got that correct? I'm not Catholic. Please excuse my ignorance. Unbaptized babies anyways. Surely these were unbaptized. You wouldn't waste the water. Slurry is water holy enough for them. The font of the cesspit, one rule for one, one for another. What's good for the golden goose isn't good for the gander. Goosey, goosey, gander. Oh, they were baptized. Did you fling your Christianity into a pit, the devil's fiery pit, you devil in a black dress, or did you diligently work to impress the right ones, the bright ones, do the right thing, saving these slovenly wretches, agents of Satan, carriers of sin with their devils, spawn their dances, romances, pave the road to hell? Is that how you justify? Is that how it was justified to you? Wicked wet nurses, black dresses with snicker snack like the wing of a crow as you clip along the corridor with the silent, all too still bundle. Did you continue to live there? Did you hear ghost cries at night, or was it just another graveyard where the banshee wails like she's supposed to? The power of Christ stops your ears to the keening. The power of Christ compels you. This is modern Ireland. We have no ghosts here except the Holy Ghost. It is the mother crying, but not a real mother, a silly girl who did silly things with silly boys. Your life can go on after this. You can get married, raise a family. No one would want you if they knew you were spoiled. I'll give you something to cry about. The power of Christ compels you. The banshee knows, the meek shall inherit. The banshee hopes, the meek shall inherit. The banshee wails and waits and waits. The banshee is beginning to fear the future.
Oh,
Nice.
Bloody yeah.
wow.
I was going to do one more, if that is all right, about 3 minutes or so.
Yeah.
See, this is I swear I do have lighthearted stuff as well, but this is kind of serious stuff.
It's fine. It's
Awesome. Thank you, Miriam. I wrote this about a news item as well. I was watching the news on Christmas Day. I know there's probably other things you could be doing on Christmas Day. And this was about a news report. I heard about three members of the same British family who drowned in a hotel swimming pool in Spain. So that is your trigger warning. This is what this is about. We have everything you could ever need. Welcome to your home away from home. We provide you with luxury. We are full board. We are an undisputed hotspot. We are whatever you want us to be. A romantic getaway. Our beds are the best beds, the finest. You will sleep on feathers and dream away. You will watch beach sunsets with panoramic views. You will dine by candlelight. Explore, please, our lush tropical gardens. A family break? We have day trips. Visit Malaga, the home of Pablo Picasso. We have golf. Your children can come with us scuba diving or painting or to the fun fair. Our complex boasts 21 swimming pools, and of all the pools in all the world, she had to dive into ours. I know an old woman who swallowed a fly, who swallowed a spider to swallow the fly, who swallowed a rat to swallow the spider, who swallowed a cat to swallow the rat, all the way up to a horse. She said, of course, a girl is drowning. There are no lifeguards, but we offer such luxury here, such candlelight, such silk sheets, such a wondrous buffet, no lifeguards. Children struggle in water all the time. An older brother sighs. In the absence of a lifeguard, he will fix this. Pauses his game, puts down his tablet, and gets wet. A boy is drowning, trying to swallow, save his sister fly, but it is just a coincidence. We have tested the water and examined the drainage system. We boast 21 pools in our complex. We know how to pool safely. An increasingly concerned father tries his best, as he has done his whole life, to protect his children, to open large, embracing arms, to be the horse, to swallow the cat, to catch the rat, to catch the spider, to catch the daughterfly. His wife and other child, dry child, still breathing child, pray loudly, pray screaming as defibrillators are employed to no avail on girl, brother, father. We have everything you could ever need. We have retrieved her swimming hat from the filtration unit. After the investigation was declared complete, we reopened the 21st pool. We need no lifeguards. We have 21 pools. We know how to pool. We are so delighted you chose to spend your Christmas Eve with us. Thank you.
Oh,
wow.
Beautiful.
beautiful. Wow.
I'd really like to see that in print though. There was so much in there.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
To be honest,
Wow.
I got a lot of the stuff about the hotel from the hotel's website. So all the posts about the day trips that you could do were actually, and the fact that they had 21 pools was from the website. And then a lot of stuff, it's kind of almost a found poem, the stuff about the filtration units. And yeah, that was from the news report. So.
Wow.
But the
Elizabeth,
hotel was found.
Yeah,
The
everyone.
hotel was found fine. So
Wow, phenomenal. Thank you so much for that. Okay, I'm going to jump straight on to the next one. Next up, we have David Lewis.
Hello. Nice to find you. David Lewis. Okay.
David.
Ray, hello.
Hi,
Hello.
David.
Big with a beard, man.
I'm up in Bristol, so it's really nice to virtually travel down to Bournemouth. Yeah, hopefully more. This one is called We the People. We the spin, the shimmer. We the sway, the light. We the anointing and sometimes the penance, the contagion and the cure. We the living cosmos. We who stockpile flocks of wings in our hearts and galaxies in our eyes. We the sun on the river in the morning. We barely glimpse. We the golden and the gentle. We the shine and the reflection. We translated into ones and zeros, traveling on wires through the air, then converted on processors to meet across vast distances. We living in all the imagined science fiction futures happening at the same time. We the scared, we the confused, the scattered, the panicked, the mourning, the angry, the numb, the loud, the quiet, the renewed, the destroyed. We, the citizens of nowhere, stumbling forward, asked to stay alert against an invisible enemy. We, the lost. We, the rare, the cruel, and the wonderful. We, the infinite and brief. But oh, what harmonies the vibration of our atoms make in the void, if only for a minute. We who have been searching for millennia in the skies and in the hedgerows and in the oceans. We who are still searching. We who strive for transcendence and find it now and then. We, the people.
Man, that was amazing.
I'm
Thank
loving
you.
the beard.
Yeah, cheers. It's
Really
very much a lockdown beard going on. I'm just going to do one more. I had a pamphlet out last year called Our Voices in the Chaos, which was really not meant to be prophetic, but here we go. This is called Early Morning. Today, we wake up in the dark before all the streets have come to life, after the clubbers have scattered on the breeze across the city, before the commuting crush starts. We dart through empty alleys, explorers with heavy rucksacks pushing onwards, watched by a single street sweeper, bored and cold. We reach the harbour just in time. The gradual glow is just beginning, your hand in mine perfectly fitting jigsaw pieces. Here it comes, the relentless future. You smile. No turning back now. There never is. Always pushing forward into the unknown. We are both shaking as together we pulse and shimmer in the sunrise. Thank you.
Oof.
Yes, hell yes.
Who's that? They should be the host. David Lewis, everyone. Nice. Okay. We've had a dropout, sadly, but I think we have a ready stand-in. So if she's ready to go, then next up we have Emmanuel Lee.
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, find you. Who am I looking for? Oh, duh. Right.
Oh, I get to be spotlighted and everything.
Yeah.
So exciting. So I would like to say it's new, but it's not new. It's just that no one's ever heard it.
Counts.
That counts as new, yeah.
It's called Aspie, and in class we were supposed to write a poem about who are you, and we were given a structure, but the structure was absolute shit, so I didn't use the structure and I wrote this instead.
Yes, mate.
Dead eyes in the back of a classroom, waiting, watching, begging for an end. Hands reluctantly raised, patient, lonely, answer in monotone, dry and flat. I note my surroundings as I walk. They tell me I'm weird like that. They say a lot of things, that I'm always pushing further. I'm often told of my rudeness, that I'm a blunt object, slamming you with such force that I'll knock you off my cliff-top face. Walking home, I'm told that the world's not made for us. We've got quirks and we're special. I don't know what to think, but what I do know is that I've started running. I don't know where. Thinking, I'm telling myself not to think, but I do it anyway. I'm thinking about who am I? A storm that never seems to pass, electric sparks lighting up randomly, unbalanced and imperfect. Bye-bye.
I haven't heard that either. No, I haven't. He lies. Wow. Yeah. Blunt object.
I have a second one too. Also, people have not heard.
Nice.
It's called Simple Truth brackets Bang Done, because why not? It's found poetry after Philip Levine, and ta-da. Small red potatoes, home, a little salt, dried fields, edge of the light. Hung on mountain oaks, gathering night, back and forth, still darkening, dusty light. Praising perfection, pale, raw, she swore. Know all your life, simple and true, without elegance. Absence of light gathering, shadows of picture frames, alone stand for themselves. Betray love. Can you taste what I'm saying? It stays in the back of your throat like a truth. The time was always wrong, unspoken, on the dirt we call earth.
Mm.
Amazing.
Manuel Lee, everyone.
I shall mount up
Woo! Okay, that brings us to the end of the first part of our
Oh, shit.
open micers.
Aw.
Does that mean we're going straight onto the headliner straight away? Yeah.
Yeah,
Ready?
as long as the headliner is ready.
Mhm.
One of
Super ready.
the best headliners we've had at Word Makers. Yeah, it's been a while. But yeah, can make some noise for Faye Roberts, please.
Oh, that's me. Oh, wait. I have to spotlight myself. Hello. I
Hey.
can't get to see your lovely faces. Otherwise, the live broadcast will be just the entire audience on Zoom. So I get to look at myself, which is this new thing that we're doing with meetings and gigs now. You have this weird back to front picture of yourself, and you suddenly find yourself going, I never see myself at that angle. That's just what is that? So yeah, it's fun. There's this new normal that we have that we're supposed to stay alert over. So poems then. Let's give you one that I've done before. No one can ever remember what it's called, and for the sake of posterity, hopefully, it's called Song to the Sea. Glance disarms my invention. My tongue tangles itself, tripping me to drown headlong in two eyes like the sea at sunrise. The exact colour of a long, drawn-out summer dawn in Orkney, reflected. Brain neglected, I happily bob and sway shamelessly, well, nearly, adrift in the sea of your regard. That small shame, that crimson shame threads through the blue like spice, cutting those cool sensations with hot, sharp intentions, the edge to every catching breath, striking deeper and deeper into my chest with every push and cresting wave, and every tug and sighing release. Oh, my love, for you I turned sailor, learned to read the weather of your ways and ride the tides of your affections. No longer shipwrecked, I'd reconstruct your gifts, those glances given, smiles bestowed, and words exchanged on that craft of sighs and hungry nights. I'd traverse you until I lost all sight of land, and there, rocked on the belly of the murmuring mystery, I'd weave my net of words and music and cast to catch the moonlight glinting from your wave top. Bring it home with me. Come, mermaid, and I'll sing to you. To tell you of a love between the elements, you'd see me true and sure to you, holding, encircling, delineating, but never limiting, smiling as again and again you throw yourself into my arms and run your fingers down my cheek with a sigh like all the world's hurt. Cheers. That's that one. Oof.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for the hell yeah. I like a bit of a hell yeah. Good stuff. Miriam, should I do the French one? Or is that a terrible
Yes,
idea?
please.
Oh
Yes,
yes.
please.
Yeah, do the French one. Okay. This
French one.
French one.
French one.
See, I've had a bona fide French speaker telling me, "Don't worry, it's not pretentious."
That was me the
That
first
was
time we
you.
met.
That was the first time we met, and frankly, it's the best praise I could imagine for this particular poem. So that made me very happy. Yeah. So I started doing NaPoWriMo in 2013. If you don't know what NaPoWriMo is, it's when you try and write a new poem for every day of April. So that theoretically, you end up with 30 new poems at the end of the month. They can't all be haiku. And you start running low on topics really quickly. So you're starting to go things like, so haven't done what about ceiling tiles yet this year, or shoes or something. And if it's me, I start trying to find different forms to play with and stuff like that, because there's only so much floaty free verse you can do day after day before you start going, I need something to limit me rather than like an endless expanse of whatever. So yeah, but this one was early on, and for some reason I decided I was going to try and do this big challenge I'd never done before on my own while traveling around France. Having not spoken French for 20 something years, certainly not done it properly, with grammar and everything. So yeah, the hardest thing about poems is titles, and so this one was called French Swimming Pool because that's where it was conceived. There is nearly always someone who will tell me, and for some reason they're nearly always a dad, who will tell me that it should be called Piscine in the Wind. It's not called Piscine in the Wind. Someone told me I should call it Sank. Yeah, it's bad, isn't it? And someone else in Edinburgh told me I should call it Stroke, which is still a bit punny, but not as bad. Miriam has suggested Vacances. If anyone's got any other suggestions, whack them in the chat, and they'll just add to the intro. So it's probably still called Stroke, possibly Vacances. Who knows what it's going to be called next time, but this is how it goes. I'm no mermaid. That chance left long ago, and so I approach l'eau avec trépidation. Celui-ci n'est pas courage, c'est un hommage de ma copine qui loves it. Piscine, pristine, cleaving waves with ease, teasing gravity's grip. In her element. It isn't mind. I'm nervous at what I see as a perversion. This is no excursion, more a dare as I bear my fear and flesh to this chlorine-choked foam marine scene pushed past by children, cocky, mockingly earthbound, slipping with sure-footed folly over smooth wet slabs to splash and roll and glide. I'm tired. I've been translating myself all week, entreating ancient memories, tugging at understanding, sometimes just nodding, until I am treading water until I find my feet. You are politely plural. I often turn my head the wrong way, and apologies are desolate until I'm told. Ce n'est pas grave. Alors je ne suis pas soif, je crois, mais ça ne fait rien. D'accord, bien, I'll paddle, quacking only when I'm crossed. As I trust myself, and my skill suspension, suspending myself, I find I can still breathe my customary fire when required, that on my own times, not only do I die, but I can bob, smiling, buoyant for a while. Un peu plus lentement, s'il vous plaît. works wonders. And I may never now be chic, but I've learnt that I can slip between these states of being, these balances of tongue and limb and breath, and best my terror. Gentle guest in another country. Still myself. Cheers.
Nice.
Oh, thank you.
Fabian.
Bien, merci.
Très bien, sir.
Hello. Yeah. So that's how that one works. The finishing off your poems on Zoom is becoming like this new. There's the new etiquette of Zoom, and there's a new. How do I show you that it's done? And so far, all I've got so far is like, which doesn't necessarily go with the vibe you've set up. If you've done something super serious, like, you know, traumatic or whatever, or just very gentle, and then you go, it's something to work on. Maybe someone should write a paper. They probably will. Okay.
Maybe you could just block the camera for like a second. It'll be like your own fade to black or fade to hand.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay. I have written stuff for NaPoWriMo this year, not as many as 30. Just because the times are odd, and these things just you have to choose where you're sending your energy. But I decided I was going to try and do a pantoum, which is a repeating poetry form. And because I am an enormous nerd, I have a spreadsheet that helps me do repeating forms. It does the heavy lifting while I do the creativity. That's the theory anyway. And it tells me what's supposed to rhyme with what. It's working so far. But yeah, this is a pantoum. If you don't know how a pantoum works, Google it, because otherwise this becomes one of those boring kind of lecture performances, and I'm just going to do the poem. It's called, because I can't resist a pun, Season of the Lich. So this must be the spring of our discontent. Our grumblings now barely touch the weather, while some of us will struggle to make rent, still others are just spending hell for leather. Our grumblings now barely touch the weather, while some urge all us sinners to repent, still others are just spending hell for leather, and in the dark conspiracies ferment. While some urge all us sinners to repent, the rest explore the length and strength of tethers, and in the dark conspiracies ferment. To break the fragile peace takes one more feather. The rest explore the length and strength of tethers, while some of us will struggle to make rent. To break the fragile peace takes one more feather, and this must be the spring of our discontent. I've long learned that the loudest response I generally get, apart from there's one guy in Cambridge who just whoops, he's like the hype man for anything, no matter whether it's really, really slow, quiet metaphysical poetry or it's like punk rock. He does like huge whoops, and it's very disconcerting. The first time he did that, I was just going, is he being sarcastic? No, he's genuinely digging this, but it's such a contrast to poetry audiences. But yeah, the is usually my goal, I won't lie. This one, I don't know if any of you are familiar with the chronic illness stroke disability bingo concept.
Oh.
Some of you may have seen this kind
Oh,
of thing before. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you basically, it's a bingo card of all that shit that able-bodied people like to say. And I'd had a few of those, so I decided to write this one. Just needed to explain why it's called bingo. And it's got a content note here of stereotypical ableism, microaggressions, reclaimed language, which comes in the first line. And yeah, I think that's about it. Also, it's a bit cross. I am Schrodinger's cripple, simultaneously making a fuss and not doing enough to get better. I am popping too many pills and insufficiently exercising while taking up too much space with my physiotherapy. I am reading too much on the internet and making myself upset while egregiously ignoring the sagacity of this particular specimen and his turmeric obsession. It's excellent for everything. I'm paying the steep price of not enough sleep and too much sleep and the wrong quality sleep and the wrong sleep position. Try a different pillow. I should be seeking a physician. Their mission is to improve me while eschewing their advice. My essential tricyclic painkiller is a myth distributed by the shills of Big Pharma. I just need to be calmer, balance my karma, yoga my way out of this, dismiss the advice of the physiotherapist who banned it for me. We've had enough of experts. I should eat more vegetables while cutting out peppers and pepper and meat and garlic and cheese and gluten, but not nutritional yeast, easily the best thing since disassembled bread. No wonder I'm so fucking tired. Viewing the queue of, have you tried? Mired in the sucking muck of everyday symptoms and special symptoms and your persistent implications that I am failing at being properly disabled. Did you know that the best way to dismiss your invisible chronic illness crip is to insist that fatigue is in league with lies disguised as fine? Did you know that ridding yourself of the inconvenience of the narrative of lived experience is at best a jest among the rest of us, but ultimately magnificently toxic? Did you know that in these interesting times, your online presence is starting to resemble ours? We were buying online groceries before it was cool. No. Mandatory. No. Made impossible by you. Now you know our reliance on online friends. Now you know our fear of physical contact. Now you know our need for people to actually wash their fucking hands properly. Now you know these things, maybe you'll put the effort in when we're all safe, or maybe even now, to bending your ears our way and hearing what we've truly got to say. Just because we put the effort in to diminish the inconvenience of our existence for your benefit the rest of the time doesn't mean that we're dissembling when we speak of fatigue or pain or the gains to be made for you leaving us be for a minute. Explicitly, of course, I don't speak for all of us here. We're not a monolith, but I can tell you this. The thing we're all sick of is people who refuse to listen. So please, let this lesson stick. Yeah. We got
Poetry noises.
poetry noises. Poetry noises. That's what we want.
Good poem.
Thank you. Ooh, do you want a poem about rage?
Yeah.
Yeah, rage
Yeah.
and
Yes,
sin.
please. Yes,
So
please.
this one, I thought maybe I'll do something really, interesting around like the 7 deadly sins, and I thought, oh no, I've done that already. But it turns out there are lots of different types of sin. Like there are sins of omission and commission. There are cardinal sins, venial sins, mortal sins. There are all sorts of different sins depending on
unforgivable sins.
Unforgivable sins. There's a shit list, and there's some of them overlap, and it's very interesting. I am not a Catholic, but I thought I'd have a look at this, and it all just sparked something else thinking about this. So it's again another pun. Here I am, incredible. It's probably not finished yet, but if I don't do new stuff now, when am I going to do it? I'm mired in it, stuck down where the clean can't reach me, because I am by every definition of the Catholic Church a sinner, unrepentant as hell. And yet, while I freely confess without regret the masturbation, homosexuality, heresy, apostasy, and missing mass, attracted polyamorously, proliferate in profanity, I battle with the big 7 daily. It's like anything else. Everything in balance, a measure of functional imperfection. Essentially, sadness is the same response to tragedy. Depression is a weight on the world. Lust is a natural drive to reproduction. Pleasure, intimacy, but a terrible central tenet. We crave nourishment, covet comfort, have built ourselves a social system that spins on this. Philosophy of worthiness and possession, and so some sins have greater penalties, it seems to me, knee-deep in the fashion of each era. And it harm not others, do what thou wilt, say some. Others do what thou wilt should be the whole of the law, still more a complex set of instructions, proliferating sin into the central condition, saddling each newborn with a burden, bereft of innocence. How original. I have a complex relationship with sin, preferring a general definition, deliberately diverting energy against what is healthy, an excess of going your own way into what you know at every level is self-evidently wrong. Of course, Pratchett said that it begins with treating people like things, a man whose own rage, righteous and otherwise, strides pages and stages and mazes of minds, winding tight around some aspects and not others, fans frantic at the pick-and-mix banquet of this fantastic philosophy. That's a sidebar, naturally, and I'm not sure it matters. Frankly, I'm having my own battles with gravity and entropy, the only flight path I can see being through the dark door I've had the keys for since before I was born. It's the 5th one. according to Wikipedia, which is giving me these congenital difficulties. When does determined tip into stubborn? When does passionate advocacy snap into anger? How does a howl of righteous ire get mired in the offence of wrath? Because I'm tarred and feathered, this sin's heft in every expression, because when patience failed, rage got me through. Hoist my arse and told me what to do, because I knew already, and all I needed was one final straw for kindling. Kindness and self-effacement dwindling when considering that someone else's sinning had me treated like a thing. And that's all well and good, or it would be if it could discern when what looks like injustice is just chaos. When instead of wielding a mace and wading in, it should pace itself, drip feed fuel to a banked fire, driving the underlying hum of, come on, you've got this, instead of torching the place and staying to make faces at those attempting to flee. I've long since decided that the world can be divided into two groups. Those who nodded when Banner said, that's the secret, I'm always angry. And those who shook their heads. If rage is built into your DNA, it's hard to know what to say to those who maintain just chill, as if it were so easy. Who'll never know how much better fire is than freezing. Poetry noises. Thank you. Oof. Thanks for the whistles. I don't think I've had many whistles before. That's kind of exciting. How much time have I got? How many more can I do?
I've no idea. Sean's in charge.
I think we're between 15 and 20 minutes now, but
Oh,
I've been told between 15 and 20 minutes, so you can keep
that
going.
sounds like 2 sonnets and something else to me. So let's do a couple of sonnets. Mostly because I know Saren's been doing a whole bunch of sonnets, and sonnets are fucking difficult. So I thought I would give you some of my slightly less formed sonnets. Last year I took part in a thing called 28 Sonnets Later. Did that this year as well, but last year was the first year. Felt a bit like the remedial sonneteer against the others, who are fantastic, by the way. So go look at the blog. It's on Blogspot, and it's just 28 Sonnets Later. Yes, like the film. So last year we were given random choices of historical figures, and I was given Constance Markovich. I thought I'd do this one because at least one person on the Zoom will know who I'm talking about. There we go. There's Elizabeth going, yeah, I've heard of her. Countess Constance Markovich. She was an Irish rebel, a socialist countess. It's true. And the first woman elected to either the Irish or the British Parliament. She never took a seat because Sinn Féin members don't. But she is a complex figure. She is someone to be admired, and not at approximately exactly the same time. It took me ages to write this one, and I had to get people in to help. I think Seren actually helped with the turning around one of the lines to help, so thanks for that. And this one's called Not Conquered Yet. So yeah, go look her up. Where once you glided forth in muslin gowns, you wear your uniform with dash and pride. Where others seek approval, you court frowns. You'll not let any fool cut short your stride. You'll use and teach all skills that come your way. Sow flags, haul coals, and teach young folk to fight. And from this stubborn path you will not sway, though time and time again constrained from light. Your body count consumes my current thought, though I can't fault your constancy to cause, and no one can deny how hard you fought. Sinn Féin the vain you gained despite the flaws. I'll laud your fire, but will not sing your song, and pray the flames it fed won't rage too long. Thanks so much. That's Markovich. Okay, do you want another historical figure, or do you want a terrifying Philippine mythical creature?
Ooh, mythical creature, please.
Mythical creature. Yeah.
Okay, mythical creature down the line. Let's see if we can show you the picture of this, because holy shit. If you ever want to check out the mythology of the Philippines, they do the most metal fucking crazy things. This is right.
Well, I'm not sleeping tonight.
The reason why she ain't got any legs, right, and she has her guts hanging out is because she's supposed to. that's how it works. Is that she basically looks like a normal woman during the day, and then at night divides from herself, and the top half of her sprouts bat wings and flies off to find victims. Like I say, metal as fuck. So yeah, the vampiric entities in the Philippines tend to be disembodied bits of thing, and they're just wicked. Really look them up. But this is called a Manananggal. I didn't pick this one, but it got given to me. She particularly likes pregnant women, and that took me off on a whole thing. So this one's called The Separator, and it has a subtitle because I'm wanky like that. And it's called Or Garlic Only Thins the Blood, the Heart Beats On. It must be nice to fly so high, she sighs. She's never stepped beyond the village green. She longs for all the wide expanse of skies, the sights that she's imagined, still unseen. I smile and tell her of the scent of clouds, the songs the wind makes in the chimney tops, the calling of the tick-tick birds, so loud, the beauty should feel real before it stops. She snuggles deep. Now I must do my part to take away the thing that holds her down. I'll siphon out this claim that chains her heart so she can find her way out of this town. It's hard to dance when half yourself is tied. Forget the salt and ash. I'm on your side. Cheers. Thank you. That was The Terrifying Manananggal. Let's see. Got a couple of minutes. I'm going to do one more. This is for Black Shook. And Black Shook is a myth that's around generally in lots of places, mostly in southeast of the in the east of England, but there's also lots of different similar ones in Ireland and Scotland and Wales as well. But there's lots of theories about what the black dog is, whether it's something left over from Odin's wild hunt, or whether it's another kind of faithful hound, or something just summoned up from the earth. But I quite like the Odin thing. The idea being that Odin carried on and left Black Shook behind. So this one's called A Good Boy, and it makes people feel a bit funny, so you've been warned. I only want someone to call my name, the one he gave, not Skucka, Shug or Shuck. Abandoned in this marsh to untrimmed fame, without him by my side, it seems I'm stuck. These flatland folk can't see me, save at night, and when they do, they're never any fun. They never want to play or hunt or fight, they only want to whimper, freeze or run. But I was trained to hold straight to my course, to stick and strive until the job's complete. If I can show I'm fast as any horse, then maybe he'll return and give me treats. Until he rides this way, I'll haunt this fen and howl alone until I'm pack again.
Oh,
Cheers. Yes, those of you going, apparently that is the correct response. So, do you want to end on something a bit mystical, or something very fucking new that I only wrote the other day, or
New shit.
new shit?
New shit!
Not cheerful. It's not cheerful.
Okay.
Do you want new shit?
Sad shit!
Sad shit. New sad shit. There you go. Someone's going to be doing new things today. This book really exists. It's called Daffodils Are Dangerous. Right? It's extraordinary. Daffodils Are Dangerous, the poisonous plants in your garden, by Hubert Creekmore.
How
Very
to kill your
long.
family.
Yeah. Especially in the if you're in North America. This is written in North America, so some of the things don't turn up here. But there's still plenty. The word vomit turns up a lot. So yeah. But this is a really useful thing for a type of poetry stimulus called bibliomancy, where you basically turn to a random page and then write whatever turns up. And someone in the workshop that we do for Allographic, we do that every Sunday, 2 till 5 on Zoom. We have a Discord as well if you want to join in with that. But yeah, it's turned from monthly into weekly because there's this whole thing where you get to see other people's faces, which is quite nice. But yeah, someone said page 43. And so, yeah, another poisonous plant, this one called, well, it's called lots of different things. So I'll tell you about what Daffodils Are Dangerous says about it, what Wikipedia says about it, and then I'll give you a sad new poem, which luckily is quite short, possibly not short, definitely shorter than the introduction. So from Daffodils Are Dangerous. Yet horrible as the effects of poisoning by false hellebore may be, for those of you who are interested, it starts with nausea and vomiting. It then goes on to cold sweat and vertigo. Then if you can't get rid of this stuff, you then get a lowered respiration, heartbeat and blood pressure before you die. Yeah, very dangerous. So the drugs in the plant, extracted and purified, are being used in medicine today for various cardiac disorders. It is said, in fact, that one great manufacturing company in the United States was virtually founded on this plant. That was back in the 60s. They don't use it no more. They've had much better things, but still. Wikipedia tells us that it is extremely toxic, and it has a whole bunch of common names, including American false hellebore, American white hellebore, beer corn, big hellebore, corn lily, devil's bite, duck retin, itchweed, poor Annie, blue hellebore, and tickleweed. It is used externally by several Native American nations, although it is rarely used in modern herbalism due to its concentration of various alkaloids. But that whole lowering the blood pressure is useful. But here's the thing that struck me. The plant was used by some tribes to elect a new leader. All the candidates would eat the root, and the last to start vomiting would become the new leader. There's a different kind of trial of strength, huh?
Wow.
So obviously this is called Poor Annie. It goes like this. It was a test. It must have been a test. Stretching resistance to the point of breaking, heart aching to the finish. You hid in plain sight, mine to discover in wet meadowland, and everything was gently exciting, igniting feelings I delved deep to describe, desire glimmering, a burn in 1,000 nerve endings. My stomach quivered, my ears roared, I soared and twisted, dizzied by something vertiginous. In this, as in everything we were together, held up and back by deference, defenseless against your deceptive strength. These days, still shaking, I take no shortcuts, shun meadowlands, and struggle to trust sunlit green, however healthy, untreacherous, sundered to the quick by this instinct you engendered. You have inscribed me. Etched deep into my synapses, I am forever cleft from my former self, bereft of connection to the nutrition others might try to offer, honestly proffering their flowers as glowers blossom in me, weak, weary and wary of the wild, shying from possibilities, always ominous to me, breathing your scent over everything. Yes, it must have been a test. I guess I'll never know. It only feels as though I've passed. That is that. Continue your shit, you got better poem. Thanks. Poetry noises.
Ooh, that was really good.
Pussy noises.
Don't know who's saying that, but thanks. I think that's all of you. Hello. Good to see you. The D for Dylan. Yeah, that's it. I have probably the easiest thing to do is to go online to the Allographic Bandcamp, and then you can download various things digitally from there. That's probably the easiest. You can order things from there as well, physical forms of stuff. So I'll put that link in the Zoom, and yeah, if you want some of that shit, virtually nothing of what I performed is available to buy, but it's nearly all on various blog posts and stuff. So yeah, go look for that. I'm putting you back onto Sean. I now switch back into being the tech for the evening. There you go, giving you back to Sean.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the murder plants. Love murder plants.
Yeah, murder plants for the win.
We live on the back of our flat goes onto Bournemouth Gardens, and I walk through, and Katie points out all of the murder plants. But don't touch that. That's really bad. I'm like, oh. Okay, awesome. I think we're going to have a little break now. and then Miriam will be back with our second round of open micers. Yeah, how long do you want, Miriam? 10, 15?
Yeah, about that.
Okay,
Let's say 10 minutes and there'll be 15.
awesome. Yeah, 10 minutes then. That sounds like good then. Okay, I shall see you all in 10 minutes. Everybody go to the bar, I suppose. Bar room? Yeah.
Yeah, let's go to the
All right.
bar.
Okay.
Stopping live stream now. Oh, no, I'm not. Let's go.